Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's been probably about 3 weeks here since I last talked to you guys. I've been out running around, to be honest with you. A friend of mine retired from Marine Corps. I had to go out and see that, and then I was home running around dealing with some family stuff, so been kind of busy. So we've only been back here on the job site for just a couple days now, and nothing really as far as the cabins is concerned has really changed too much from the last time we talked. So prior to me leaving, I had taken delivery of the windows. In fact, the day I was leaving, I believe, is when they showed up. So I never had a real chance to address them, put them in, and kind of get going on it. So yesterday, I actually was able to pull 2 windows out and put 2 windows in there at the house. So we're halfway done with the windows that I have for the house, which means that down here for the cabins, I have 2 windows. They do need a little repair. I got a little aggressive maybe with me pulling them out of the wall, and I do got to fix them up a little bit. Some of the trim, I took too much trim off in spots. Some of the sill nose needs to be repaired, and so just some things like that. So these, I mean, obviously these are 30-year-old windows, so they've seen some weather and things like that, but we'll get them straightened out here. So let me turn you around here and we'll show you what we're looking at. So here's the 2 windows that I pulled out of the house, and well, this is where they're kind of sitting here. This is down on cabin 2 right now, so this gives me a nice level work area to work with to try and put some of these things back together. So I got myself some trim pieces here. That's what this long piece is here. I need to apply this all around the casing itself. It literally holds the I guess the working part, the spring part in the actual sash itself, or the actual the frame itself. So, and here's part of what I was talking about. Got a little crazy up there. So this is the sill here. I've taken the sill nose off. Okay, so this is the bottom part of the window, and then let's see if I can focus in on this. Yeah, this brown piece here, that's that's actually part of my cabin, part of my house, and I had to. There was good use of some glue, some sort of liquid nails or something in between the sill and the logs of the log home, and it me and the Sawzall kind of went at it for a little bit. So this is the worst damage. Again, you're not going to see any of that, you know, when you're looking at the house. I certainly should have taken a little more time and not gouged it out as much, but a little damage here to the sill on the bottom, not going to see it, and then a little more cabin that came with it. So I'm going to take a knife, take my X-Acto knife, whatever, and get under here and just kind of clean that up a bit. Again, all sorts of glue and silicone and everything like that. So it needs to be cleaned up. And that's just there on the bottom. So the surface itself, so I took my heat gun. I was just trying to figure out what was going on with it. Took my heat gun to it, and there's paint on top of stain. So the heat gun works very well. I don't know if you've ever used heat to pull up paint, but it works very well. It basically boils it off, and you just take a knife or something and scrape it off, and it works very well. But we were going to utilize these windows with like a natural wood appearance, and so with this stain on here, it's, well, here's what happened. So I took some sandpaper and I sanded it down a little bit just to kind of see if I can get underneath the stain, and it's still green under there, and I'm not quite sure how that's going to come out. So what I plan to do is really just get the paint off and leave the stain, maybe sand a little bit just to kind of clean it up, a little bit, and we'll kind of go from there. We'll get them installed, and the boss will come down and make the decision on this. I think she was leaning towards painting these. So, and there's a lot of little nooks and crannies like this little seam here that, you know, there's no way I'm going to be able to get in there effectively and clean that out with sandpaper and stuff like that. But yeah, well, we're just going to spend some time here today cleaning these up, getting them rebuilt, putting some of this trim work back on it. And yeah, we'll go from there. It's good to be back, guys. Here we go. All right, guys, I got my first little piece of trim here set up, ready to go. Now, I don't know if you've ever worked with windows and stuff before, but there's a lot of interesting, the trim pieces that go on it are very specific. So this was fine. This was just a piece of rectangular stock that fits this just fine. But there are these plastic rails that kind of run along here. So if I was to put this just straight down on top of that, that would add additional friction to the window, and the operation may not be very good. It might be very sticky. So I just ran these up to my table saw, and I just cut a groove down it. Now, so this little ridge here fits right down inside that, and this now sits nice and flush here with the rest of the frame. And what I'm putting all this together with, I've got my crown stapler out here. So these are I think they're 1.25" staples. So should hold it just fine. So these marks and everything that are left now with the staples, I can fill those in, cover them over, and paint right over. You'll never know they were even there. And that is holding up just fine. So we're going to repeat the process here. We're going to totally frame this part of the window out with this trim. And yeah, we'll go from there. just run through here while I've been down here with the heat gun. It's actually working very well here. And you saw me break out the wire brush there at the end, really primarily to get inside this crack that's right here, or this seam, but it's working very well, and it's just going to take some time to kind of get all this paint off. Here's another good example up here of where up at the house yesterday I was testing things out and it started to come off. So we're going to spend a good little bit of time here. Again, I'm probably just trying to get the top layer of paint off, and that stain is probably going to have to stay there unless I get crazy and start sanding some more. But I've got the sander with me, so we'll see. The problem is, you know, for these gaps and things like that are in there, obviously it's not going to get done inside there. But I think if I clean it up pretty good, I think it's going to look okay. So to make things kind of easier on myself, I took the sash out of the frame, and I've just been running my finish sander over the large parts of it here, and it actually turns out fantastic. So it looks great. There's stuff here on the inside, you know, I really can't get. And then of course this little notch here that goes around the whole window, kind of tough to get as well. So I'm going to run some sandpaper. I've got some sandpaper here. I'm going to put a little elbow grease into it and see how it comes out. Okay, well, after almost, I don't know, 45 minutes, maybe an hour there, just kind of working my way through this here. The juice is not worth the squeeze on this. This is way too much effort for something that's probably going to be painted over anyway. So I think I'm gonna call it quits here. Having that sash out of the frame itself was great. It really helped out. But you can really see that even down there in that that little crack here, and then, you know, I ended up scratching the glass a little bit. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So we're gonna go ahead and call that done. So as Rebecca preps them to be painted and stuff, then, you know, she can take a little bit of sandpaper if there's a bump or something that needs to be taken out. But probably just going to end up continuing up here at the top with the heat gun and just getting the old paint off, and then just leave that stain underneath there. So that's not too difficult. But I was hoping to have these windows actually screwed into cabin 1 today, and that's not going to happen. So yeah, I'm gonna just continue kind of puttering along here with getting this paint off, and we'll do what we can. All right, guys, just finished up here. Got the sashes back inside the frame, and I was able to run the heat gun around and get all that paint off without any issues. It looks fantastic. This kind of weather-beaten green actually looks pretty nice. I know that's not what we're going to end up with, but that's you know, I guess it's an option. So this one looks good. I'm going to call this one done, and this will be the first one into the frame tomorrow. Shouldn't have any problem. I'm going to work on probably getting the heat gun around this one here, and probably going to work on this for another half hour maybe, if that, and then we'll be done for the day here. So these two will get mounted in cabin 1 tomorrow, and yeah, we'll try and see if we can't get some framing around it, or, well, we'll see how things go step by step. All right, let me get to work. All right, guys, finished product over here at cabin 1. Just waiting to be put in here. So they actually look really good. I'm really impressed with how well they cleaned up, and they should do rather well. So I dry fitted one yesterday when I kind of brought these windows down here to work on them. I got about a 1/2 inch gap around the entire window, so we're definitely going to have to do some shims. I don't have any boards that are 1/2 inch. I could take up the gap about you know, a 1/2 inch, and then I have a 1/4 inch on each side, but I don't have any thin lumber like that, so we're definitely going to need to shim it up a little bit. So we'll tackle all that tomorrow, but something to think about while I'm inside eating and stuff like that. So, but up here, got to clean up. Definitely want to clean up the area. That green paint, although it came off, You know, it came off in little clumps and stuff like that. Still, I don't know what would happen if it rained out here right now. Would that stain the deck? I'm going to assume it will. So I need to get the blower down here and get this cleaned off. All right, guys. Well, with everything set up for tomorrow, that's it for today. It's about, let me look at my thing, about 5:30 right now. So, and the wind has died down and has gotten extremely muggy. I know a lot of people across the country right now are dealing with hot weather and stuff. So we here in Western North Carolina are no different for sure. So anyway, that's going to do it for today. Like I said, windows tomorrow. If I get those in tomorrow relatively easy, I might start pulling out another 2 from the house. But we'll see how that goes. Generally with this stuff here, I'm not a window guy. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So we'll crawl before we can walk. I got some grounding rods I might want to put in down there at cabin 1. Might want to give the inspector a call. We got a lot going on, and yeah, just like eating the elephant, guys. All right, we'll see you on the next one.